Hi, I'm Lena from HR.com. If you are joining us for the first time today, welcome to day 3 of Inspire and welcome back to those that have rejoined us. Have a look around and tune in to the valuable learning sessions and networking times. Check out the event navigation guide to get the most out of the event. I will post a link to the exit survey in the chat area, and the presentation slides will be available in the archived version of this event on hr.com. If you have questions during the session, simply add them in the Q&A on your webinar controls. There will be time for live answers at the end of the session. You will also notice the chat feature, which you may use to engage with attendees and panelists. We love hearing your comments. This session is Influence Through Voice in Times of Uncertainty, presented by Cynthia Zhai. Cynthia is a professional speaker, CSP, best-selling author, and voice coach. She's also a TED speaker. Cynthia has been a professional speaker and coach for the past 18 years, and her engagement spans 5 continents in 18 countries. As a voice coach, she has helped professionals from 46 countries across 6 continents to speak with a powerful voice. It's now my pleasure to turn it over to Cynthia.
Thank you, Lena. So 2021 continues to be a challenging year with uncertainty, unpredictability, and instability. So since the pandemic started, we have seen how important it is for a leader to have a voice that's not going to evoke more panic, more anxiety, but rather to give people assurance, certainty, and hope. So in this session, you are going to learn what kind of voice can give people assurance, certainty, and hope. And hopefully you will develop that voice with tools and skills so that you can influence people around you and give them hope, assurance, and certainty. Good morning to all of you. So a lot of times that my clients, they came to me, they said, I want to speak like a leader. I want to speak with a voice that sounds like Morgan Freeman. So what kind of, when more people were saying that they wanted to sound like Morgan Freeman, so I started to ask them, I said, okay, what do you like about his voice? And they always say that, oh, his voice is very authoritative, but at the same time, it's very calming, very pleasant to listen to. Now imagine since last year, 2020, when the pandemic started, if we have, or if you have a leader that can speak with a voice that brings that kind of calmness, peace, assurance, and hope to you, how much a difference would that make to you? So that's the voice that you can develop as well. And the voice that brings assurance, certainty, and hope, what kind of quality does it have? A leader's voice, especially in times of uncertainty, it has the quality of gravitas, the weight, the groundedness. So that's the quality you can develop as well. So this has been the voice you've been hearing for the past 3 minutes. So I'm going to demonstrate you another voice and you see what the difference is. And most of all, hear the difference. So this is another voice I'll be demonstrating. And this is the other voice. Can you hear any difference? If you heard any difference, type them into the chat so that I know you can identify the difference between these two voices. So now I'm coming back to my normal voice. And I would love to hear you sharing. Okay, thank you, Sally. Sally mentioned that is higher tone. Okay, anything else? Modulation is quite different. What is the difference that you heard? Okay, so as I'm waiting for more of you to share the change, thank you, Diane. Higher and faster, higher and faster. Okay, Sally also mentioned faster. So a lot of times in my sessions, in my speech, in my workshops, they will be saying, wow, Cynthia, do you often switch on and off? There is no switch. So the voice that you are going to develop, which has the gravitas, the weight, uh, conveys certainty, assurance, is the voice that you can develop and which will be with you for the rest of your life, which actually becomes your second nature. And so the difference you heard, like faster, higher, so those were the results. What made the results was the way that you are projecting the voice. So the way I'm projecting the voice, this is the voice that you are going to develop as well, which is a full voice. A full voice. A full voice is a voice that's projected with your full body. And the other voice I was demonstrating is a voice coming from here. So, and you heard the voice is a little bit higher tone, at the same time is thinner. And that is what I call the head voice. So as if that the voice is only projecting from part of your body, while the full voice is projecting with your full body. So that's the voice you want to develop, which is a full voice. For most people, when you have developed a full voice, your pitch will go a little bit deeper. That is also your optimum pitch range. So of course, the question I'm always asked is, oh, Cynthia, if everyone is developing a full voice, how can we identify our difference? How can we still be unique? Well, this is also like you develop the muscles, right? So if you develop, let's say for guys, if you develop six packs, when every guy is having the six pack, do they all look the same? Of course not. So it's the same for your voice. When you develop your full voice, it is also unique because it is the essence of how your body build is, how your mind is, how your emotion is. So your full voice still is infused with all the essence about you. So that's why when you develop your full voice, not only you're still going to be unique, what's even more important is that you are going to start to connect with yourself more. Because when you're speaking with a voice coming from here, your head voice, you're not connected with your full body. You are in fact disconnected. We know that the great leaders, they are very present. So nowadays, a lot of leaders in my clients, they want to develop leadership presence. If you want to have leadership presence, you must be present whenever you speak. But we do notice a lot of people, when they're speaking, they are preoccupied, even though they are facing you, but you can see they're somewhere else. So when you're not present, it's because you are fundamentally disconnected within yourself. From the voice point of view, you are disconnected because you're only using part of your body. When you start to develop your full voice, you're starting to reconnect with yourself. When you are reconnected with yourself, when you are synchronized inside of your body, you are going to be very present when you're speaking. And that is the fundamental, one of the great fundamental qualities as a leader who can influence in times of uncertainty, which is presence. And how to be present is you have to be connected with yourself. And that also tells you that voice work is body work. Voice work is body work. So that's why in the session, we are going to get physical. And the voice, in order to get connected with yourself, in order to use the full body to project the voice, you also want to remember this. The secret to your voice is in the air. The secret to your voice is in the air. Not the air outside of you, but the air inside of you. The air inside of you is the breath. So if you want to improve your voice, you have to improve your breath. You may have heard of this many, many times. And here, when we are saying the breath, it has so much more than just breathing properly. So you are going to find out how you are going to be more attuned to your breath, how you are going to see how fast you breathe, how slowly you breathe, how much you breathe, how much breath you use, how little breath you use can make a big difference in the way you influence. And you're going to see one example first. So when we say that as a leader, you need to be present. When you're speaking, you need to sound present. And I'm going to demonstrate two different ways of speaking, and you're going to see which one sounds more present. So I'm going to do that through a 3-sentence introduction. So the first one would be, good morning, my name is Cynthia. I'm a voice coach. And then the second way, good morning, my name is Cynthia. I'm a voice coach. So which one sounds more present, more engaged? So you can type into the chat and let me know, number 1 or number 2. Okay, thank you, Sally. Melissa as well, number 1. Okay, Diane, Robin, thank you. Okay, so you can hear is the first one. Then what's wrong with the second one? You can also type into the chat, what's wrong with the second one? So let's hear, monotone, okay, very good, monotone. Anything else? How about the rest? Nothing wrong, didn't sound confident. Thank you, Melissa. Okay. So these are the results that you heard. The results were monotone and not confident. What created the result? Now, of course, it can be coming from the mindset. Maybe it is really that I am occupied. I don't want to talk to you. I just want to quickly finish what I want to say with you, and so that I can go back to do whatever I was occupied with. But as a result, people will see you as disengaged, not present, or not even want to talk, or monotone, not confident. So what created the result in these two, the difference is how you're using the breath, or even if you were using the breath. So the problem, the root problem for the second one is that I take a breath in, but I'm not using the breath. I'm just going to hold my breath and speak. When I'm holding my breath and speak, as a result that I sound monotone. As a result also that I sound, I am closed. I don't want to talk. I just want to quickly finish our conversation so that I can go back to do whatever I have. And so that's the root problem. The root problem was I took a breath in, but somehow for some reason that I was not using the breath. So this is the first thing you want to know, that when you are speaking, have you ever thought about when you were speaking, did you breathe in or breathe out? Type into the chat and let me know. When you're speaking, do you breathe in or breathe out? Maybe you have never thought about it. Okay, thank you, Sally. Never thought about it. Yes. Okay, thank you, Diane. Robin said in. Okay, so when we are speaking, you can try when you're speaking and breathing in, can you speak? So when we are breathing in, the only sound we can make would be, then we forget to breathe out. That's where all the tension has been accumulating. So that's why that most people nowadays speak with a very tense voice. It's because that people forget to breathe out. Yeah. So when we speak, we should be breathing out. Okay, thank you, Melissa and Diane. Yes, so when we're speaking, we are supposed to breathe out because when the air is going out, it will bypass the vocal cords to make the vocal cords vibrate. That's the source of our voice, which is the vibration of the vocal cords. Now, in order to have the vocal cords vibrate, the air must go out. But the problem is not that people try to speak when they breathe in. The biggest problem that I have seen in my clients is that 90%, I was shocked when I noticed that 90% of my clients, at least, that it may not be all the time they hold their breath and speak, but at times that it may also can happen to you. So you want to start to pay attention to when you are holding your breath and speak. That is the problem. The problem is not that people try to speak when they breathe in. The problem is people are holding their breath and speak. When you're holding your breath and speak, this is how you sound. And then you still try to speak. As a result, then you have another problem, which is you will feel breathless and then gasp for air. So a lot of my clients, they said, oh, I often feel breathless. It's because one of the reasons could be you were holding your breath and still try to speak. And as you still continue, towards the end, you will notice that you are running out of breath. To solve that is when you are speaking, you need to breathe out. So that's the first technique that you want to remember. And that is to speak on the exhalation. Speak on the exhalation. So I'm going to write it down in the chat. So that's the first thing you're going to practice today. Speak on the exhalation, which means when you're speaking, you need to breathe out. Now, for most people, you're probably breathing out when you're speaking. But I would encourage you to observe when you are not breathing or when you're holding your breath and speak. And I can guarantee you that you will find times you are doing that. I have seen that happening in almost every client of mine. So how do you correct that when you notice yourself holding the breath? When you're holding your breath, what do you do? So when you're holding your breath, if you notice yourself holding your breath, you're not going to take another breath in. This is the wrong advice some of my clients got. So when you're holding your breath, you're not going to take another breath in because you're already having the breath in your body, not going out. So instead, you need to find an opportunity to let the breath go out. So how do we find the opportunity to let the breath go out? So I'm going to demonstrate. And we're going to use this sentence. This is another golden line you want to remember, which is the best voice comes from the most relaxed body. The best voice comes from the most relaxed body. That's why you see that babies, they can cry all day long, loud and clear. We were so surprised at how come such a small body can produce such a strong sound. It's because babies are very relaxed. So babies, they don't have tension in their body. If you try to squeeze the baby's muscle when their parents were not around, you will notice that the muscle on the baby's body is very tender, very soft. But for us as adults, when you go for a massage, they will ask you, oh, what happens to you? Your body is so stiff because our body has stored all the tension accumulated over the years. So that's something you want to remember. The best voice comes from the most relaxed body. We're going to use the sentence for the practice to demonstrate. If you notice yourself holding the breath, what do you do? So I'm going to demonstrate the sentence. First, I'll start with holding the breath. And then somewhere I notice the problem, I'll let go of the breath. And you're going to observe how I let go of the breath. So let's start. The best voice comes from the most relaxed body. Okay, did you notice how I let go of the breath? Let's see if you can tell. If you didn't notice, then you can also let me know. So I'll demonstrate one more time. Okay, so I'll demonstrate one more time. Again, I'll start with holding the breath. Take a breath in and then hold it. The best voice comes from the most relaxed body. Now did you notice how I let go of the breath? The breath I had been holding. Okay, thank you, Melissa, you heard it. So did you notice what did I do? Okay, thank you. Okay, very good. Thank you, Heather and Diane. So Diane said during the word relax, that's right. And also during the word relax, I was letting go of the air on the second syllable, on that relaxed. So this is what you can do. If you notice yourself holding the breath, you don't need to pause. You don't need to pause to take another breath in. Instead, you can let go of the breath you have already been holding on certain word. And you see that it sounds very normal. For the first time, you didn't even notice. So let's try one more time. So you're going to pretend you're holding the breath. The best voice comes from the most relaxed body. On the word relax, I let go of the air. And the word also sounds very relaxed. So you see, that's where you're letting go of the breath. And after the word body, I can take another breath in, continue with other sentences. So the other sentence, let's try two sentences. And I would like to have you try the sentence as well. And then hold the breath first. And then you're going to let go of the breath on certain words. The words can be other words as well. So just now we used the word relaxed. It can also be other words. For example, the best voice comes from the most relaxed body. So this time I've changed the word to most. So as long as you find a word, you can let go of the breath. Okay, so I'm going to add one more sentence. Then I'm going to demonstrate two sentences. So now, one more time, we're going to hold the breath. The best voice comes from the most relaxed body. Breath is the power of your voice. So now you heard the sentence is very consistent. It's very well supported by the breath. So one is that I let go of the held breath on the word most. And then after that, after the word body, I took a breath in so that I can continue the second sentence. So remember that you're not going to, one is whenever you notice you're holding the breath, immediately let go of the breath on certain word. And then after that, when you let go of all the air, let go all the air, remember all the air, your body will take a breath in automatically. So I took a breath in after the word body automatically. So I can have breath to finish the second sentence. So let all of you try it. Try the sentence as we have. And as you are trying it, I will be answering the questions Lisa raised. What is the key to concentrating on your breathing while focusing on your presentation and speech? Okay, very good. Okay, Diane said doesn't feel natural yet. Yes, so it comes with more practice. So Lisa raised a very good question. This is also a very often asked question. So many of my clients, they'll be saying that, oh, I want to, when do I take a breath in? How do I focus? Where should I focus? If I pay attention to when I should take a breath in, then I'm losing my message. We know that our mind can only focus on one thing, give 100% attention at a time. So that's why I don't want you to be multitasking. Instead, you're only going to focus on one thing. And that one thing is you are going to use a lot of breaths. Let go all the breaths on one word. For one sentence, at least you have one word. That would be your focus. So your focus again is only going to be on letting go of all the breath on one word. So when you let go of all the breath, your body will automatically take a breath in so that you don't need to worry about when you're going to take a breath in. So I'm going to demonstrate one more time. This time I'm going to demonstrate normal speaking without holding the breath anymore. So now you're going to see whether you can tell when I took a breath in. So we start again, the 2 sentences. So take a breath in every time before you speak. The best voice comes from the most relaxed body. Breath is the power of your voice. Can you tell when I took a breath in? You can type into the chat. When I took a breath in. Oh, okay. Thank you, Melissa. Okay. Was it when you said power? Okay. Thank you, Diane. So it was actually after the word power, because on the word power, I used all my breaths. Then my body was taking an automatic inhalation. So that's what you want to do as well. You always want to focus on which word I want them to remember. Then the word will be the word you use more breath or use all your breath. So if I don't use all my breath, this is how it's going to sound like. The best voice comes from the most relaxed body. Breath is the power of your voice. So after the word most and after the word power, my body was not taking a breath in. It wasn't taking the breath in automatically because I didn't use enough air and I still have breath in my lungs. But you notice that the message was not as strong. Some of you said emphasis, it accents the word. Yes, that's right. Thank you, Melissa. And so yes, it sounds like emphasis, but you see, what is emphasis? Emphasis is actually to use more breath. So that's why you're going to use more breath on certain words. And that'll also help you always focus on whoever you're talking to. Because whoever you're talking to, you're constantly thinking about which word do I want him or her to remember. Then the word you're going to use more breath. So a lot of speakers, they are focusing too much on what they're going to say. Now you're going to shift your focus to which word do I want them to remember. Then the word will be the word you use all your breath on. When you do that, your body will start to coordinate by itself. Our body, trust your body. Your body is smart enough to know, because when you run out of breath, the body will take a breath in. So I would love to have you try these 2 sentences one more time. So you're going to take a breath in, and we use more breaths, all the breaths on the word most and the word power. And you will notice you're going to take a breath in. So if you do that, you see, you're going to use at least 4 breaths. One is before you speak. And then 2 is after the word most, you take a breath in, or even after the word body, you take a breath in. And then the third breath is power, you take a breath in. At least 3 breaths. But I took 4 breaths. So the 4 breaths I took is, one is after the word most. The other one is after the word body. So in between sentences, I was taking a breath in as well. So I'll demonstrate one more time. You will hear that it sounds very consistent, well supported by the breath. The best voice comes from the most relaxed body. Breath is the power of your voice. So I took 4 breaths. Okay, the end of sentence. Yes, so we don't want to take the breath only at the end of the sentence. So you see, this is what you are going to focus on, which is which word do you want them to remember? Then the word you will be using more breath. So in that case, you don't have to have script. So you can practice this exercise whenever you're speaking, because whenever you're speaking, you're constantly thinking about which word do I want them to remember. So now you hear, as I speak just now, there were a few words, they stood out because those were the words that I wanted you to remember. So that's the first one. Now, of course, there are two ways you can do this practice. One is that you do it in your daily conversations, constantly thinking about which word you want them to remember. The other one is that you can pick up anything, newspaper, magazines, or even your work-related material. You can practice reading them. But when you're reading them, you're reading it like you're saying it. So those are the two ways you can practice so that when you're speaking, it becomes more natural. You see, just this one small exercise, which is to speak on the exhalation, which is to let go of all the air on certain words. It can help you sound very relaxed. It can help you sound consistent. It can help you sound well supported with breath. And it can also help you have your message very clear. So if you are speaking with a monotone, this will also help you overcome monotone. Just this one technique itself can help you kill so many birds. Speaking with more authority as well, yes, because all these words we're using more breaths, they stood out, like the word power, like the word most. So that's one technique you have picked up. And we have another one about the breath as well. So before we go to the next one, do you have any questions? Feel free to type them into the chat. So I'd love to have your questions as we go along. Okay. So we mentioned that you're going to have the voice convey assurance, certainty, and you have just learned how to have more certainty and assurance, which is when you're speaking, when it comes to keywords, you use more breath. So when we use the breath, there are two different ways we use the breath. One is, just now we demonstrated, like the word power. So the word power, we said it in a way that is similar to how to convey certainty and assurance. And that is how we are letting go of the breath. We're letting go of the breath. One is a lot of breath. Two is the breath is going out fast. Fast, power. So a lot and fast. So when the breath is going out fast and a lot, it conveys certainty and assurance. So for example, let's try this sentence. The sentence is, this is final. So I have highlighted the word final, and that means that is the key word. The word you're going to use a lot of breath. And this time the breath is going out fast and strong, which is a lot. So again, we are going to pick one syllable. So we're not going to do that with both syllables. And also the word final has a little bit trick. Okay, so it wouldn't be, this is final, or there's a final, no, right? So we're going to do something as this. This is final. This is final. Do you hear the trick? The trick is not the syllable. The trick for the word final is actually the sound, sound. The sound, we are using more breath. This is final. This is final. So we are giving more breath on the sound, sound to help you convey the certainty and assurance. So this is one way of using the breath, which is when you want to use the breath for certainty or firmness, assertiveness, all these related emotions. So when you use the breath for certainty, firmness, assertiveness, authority, we're going to let the breath go out, breath going out strong, which is a lot, meaning a lot of air, and fast. So the breath is going out a lot and fast. So have you try it. This is final. You're going to use the breath strong and fast on the word final. And remember we said final is a little bit different. It's on the f sound. Okay, so let's see. Let's have you try it and let me know how it goes. Okay. Same time, whenever you have questions. Okay. Sally said it's much easier with this sentence. This sentence is shorter. Yes. Okay. So we can also try another sentence. This is also probably a sentence you often say at work. This is also to convey certainty. Okay. So this is the sentence. The sentence I've also highlighted the word very. So how you're going to do this one? So let's have you try it. So again, on the word very, we're going to use the breath strong and fast. You'll probably go, so you wouldn't be, this is very important. So we wouldn't prolong the sound. So instead, the sound is, the breath is going to be strong and fast. So it's more like, this is very important. This is very important. Okay, Melissa said, feels like you can get it, but then don't know where to breathe. Okay, so, okay. So you see, I didn't notice how I breathed just now because my focus was on the word very, using more breaths. So now I'm going to try it one more time and then see when I took a breath in. So I'll take a breath in first before I start. This is always what you're going to do as well. Take a breath in first. This is very important. So after the word very, I had a quick breath in. So that's where I took the breath. Because the word very, you need to use enough breath. If you didn't use enough breath, you wouldn't have an automatic inhalation. Okay, that's good, Sally. So you did it. So I was breathing out on the word very. And then after the breathing out on very, I took a quick breath in to say the word important. Before I say the word important. So let me slow down the process. It will be more like this. So take a breath in first. And then this is very important. So now I'm slowing down the process. You can hear the breath. That's right, very subtle. So that's why after the word very, you are taking a very quick. It's not a full breath. So this is your lungs. You're speaking, speaking, speaking. And then after the word very, take a quick breath in, just a little bit. No need to be full. Okay. So that's very important. And then we also go back to the other sentence we have. Breath is the power of your voice. So now we need to use more breath on the word power because the word power itself is authority, right? So we're going to use more breath on the word power. So power is the pow sound, right? So breath is the power of your voice. So after the word power, I took a quick breath in. So one more time, slow down. The process is breath is the power of your voice. So take a breath in and then use the breath. So that's what you're going to do. Okay, so let's have you try the breath is the power of your voice. Always remember, take a breath in first, and then you need to use enough breath. If you don't use enough breath, it will just be one breath for you. Okay. So that is that one. And so now, the third one, okay, that's very good. So now coming out more naturally. So then we're going to move on to the final technique, which is the other emotion. So just now we've conveyed certainty, assurance. Now we're going to convey hope. Hope will be different. Hope is a different way of using the breath. So for hope, for caring, all these friendliness. So all these emotions will be using different breaths. So breath is going out in different ways. So I'm going to demonstrate a sentence first. So before I review to you how we use the breath. So the sentence is, let me find it. So the sentence is, the future is a source of hope. So I'm going to put it here. So I'm going to say it first, and then you see how I use the breath. So take a breath in first. The future is a source of hope. So which word did it stood out? And then also, how did I use the breath on that word? Okay, future, source, and hope. Okay. And then also out of these three words, which word has a little bit stand out more? Okay, source and hope. Okay, yes. And then how did they stand out? Okay, so most of you heard the word hope. Yes, so the word source as well. So I'm going to demonstrate one more time. This time you see how I use the breath. Is it still going out strong and fast? So take a breath in first. The future is a source of hope. So this time you see that the breath is going out differently. Breath going out. Okay, so this is how I use the breath. The breath is going out long, slow. It is still a lot of more breath going out, but this time it's long and slow. So this is how we convey hope, caring, and friendliness. So for example, this sentence, if we say, how are you? So if you only say, how are you? There's nothing, right? People feel you're just asking, you're just saying for the sake of saying that. There's no emotion, there's no caring. So if you are asking with care for this sentence, it would be more like, how are you? How are you? So the word how, I'm going out with the breath long and slow. So let's try these two sentences. One is, the future is a source of hope. Two sentences. The other one is, how are you? So you're going to try them. This time your breath is going out slow and long. So the breath is still going out. The future is a source of hope. Hope. The future is a source of hope. And how are you? So if you only say, how are you? People feel that you're cold, right? Or some sentences we may also say at work, like, tell me more. So if you just say, tell me more, they don't want to tell you more anymore because it sounds like you don't want to hear more. But you can say, tell me more, tell me more. So this time you see more. It's slow and long. But if we say, tell me more, fast and strong, it's different emotion. So tell me more instead of tell me more. Almost lose breath before getting to source. Okay. So if that's the case for Diane, before the word source, you can take a breath in. So the future, if you use a little bit on future, the future, you can take a breath in after the word future. If not, you can take a breath in before the word source. The future is, take a breath in, a source of. Okay, very good. So now can you see, and from your practice and experience, can you see that the secret to your voice is in the air? Is in the air, is how you use the breath, how much breath you use, how slow, how fast you use the breath. So just by the way you play with the breath, it can help you convey different emotions, either certainty, assurance, or hope. So I hope the session has raised your awareness on your voice as well as on how you're going to use the breath. So our session is very limited, and this is only a very brief overview on our voice. So I would love to connect with you. So I'm going to share with you my contact information. So feel free to contact me on LinkedIn and YouTube. So I recommend you to check out my YouTube channel. There are more than 200 videos, and we have 42,000, more than that, subscribers. So on YouTube, there are also new videos being updated regularly. So that's one source for your further learning. The other one is on my website, powerfulexecutivevoice.com. On my website, there are a lot of free videos and free webinars. They will go much more in depth to help you develop your voice. So if you can just watch those videos and webinars, it will help you go way ahead when you're speaking. It will help you enhance your influence in very subtle ways. But the change, as you have noticed, can be huge. So that's where we can keep connected. Okay, and now let's see if you have any questions. I think we have 2 or 3 minutes left. Thank you, Diane. Okay. If you don't have any question right now, and if you have any questions afterwards, feel free to reach out as well. And you see, the voice is very powerful, but in nowadays, the technologies have taken the upper hand, which actually people think, oh, I can just hide behind a computer. But no, if you want to make influence, make an impact, inspire people, it is still coming from the human voice. There is nothing that can replace the human voice. The human voice can start or stop a war. We see that in the national leaders. Your voice can start or stop a war. Your voice can make or break a bond. Your voice can motivate or demoralize people. So pay attention to your voice. Start from recording yourself and have the courage to face the reality. You may not like your voice, but you have to know how you sound to others, what kind of impression you give to others. And you can also, on my YouTube channel, you can check out the TEDx talk I gave. It will give you more insights on the power of the human voice. And that is my mission, to awaken or reawaken the power of our voices. We use it every day, but so few people have given so much attention to it. So I hope this session has opened the door to you to the power of your voice. So with that, I'm closing the session. Thank you everyone for attending and interacting with me. Thank you very much. and we'll keep in touch.
I'd like to also thank you, our presenter, Cynthia Zhai, for presenting this very informative webcast today.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
And thanks
And
to you for attending. Your feedback is important to us. Please take a moment to fill out the exit survey that opened in our in a new browser page on your computer. You do have a few minutes before the next webcast begins, so you can visit the exhibit hall or grab a fresh cup of coffee or whatever your beverage of choice may be. We will be sending out an email with the credit information. You will also find the credits on your View My Credits page of your membership profile once the webcast has been archived. This concludes this webcast session. We hope you've been enjoying Inspire 2021. All virtual booths are available for the entire event, as well as the networking lounge, so take some time to look around and connect. Have a great day.
take care, everyone. Bye.